Yes, Roma wines taste better because only Roma selects from the world's greatest wine reserves for your pleasure. And now Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, Roma Wines presents
Suspense. Tonight, Roma Wines bring you Mr. Eddie Bracken in Elwood, a suspense play produced, edited, and directed for Roma Wines by William Spear.
Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those better-tasting California wines enjoyed by more Americans than any other wine. For friendly entertaining, for delightful dining. Yes, right now, a glassful would be very pleasant, as Roma Wines bring you Eddie Bracken in a remarkable tale of
Suspense.
Mr. Overmeyer wasn't around, so I closed the gas station early that day and started home. I wasn't feeling very well. I walked along thinking of different things, past the high school where I'd gone last year and where Miss Wilson was still teaching, past the movie theater where they were still showing the Humphrey Bogart picture I'd seen last night. I thought maybe I'd go again tonight. And then I cut through the alley to the rickety old frame building where we lived on the second floor over the store. I hated that place. Every time I got near it, I hated it worse. It was no kind of a place for us to be living. I went up the back stairs. I could hear Mom and Sis in the kitchen, so I went straight to my own room and locked the door. I pulled up the old floorboard and got out my things and spread them on the bed. I pinned on the flyer's wings and strapped on the chronograph-type watch. It said to Jimmy from Jane on it. I looked at myself in the mirror. I could have been a famous flyer. I took off the watch and the wings, and I looked over the other things. There was a gold fountain pen that I had only a week. It said L.I.B. on it. It was the kind that big executive used to sign important papers. I tried it out a few times in front of the mirror.
Elwood?
Huh? Yes?
Elwood?
All right, Mother, all right.
So early. Did you get fired?
No, I just closed up a little early.
Well, you will get fired. Mr. Obermeyer catches you closing up early.
No, I won't.
Don't think you're going to lie around this house when you do. Your sister and I have a hard enough time as it is without having you on our necks.
Oh, I don't feel very well today, Mom.
Huh. Don't feel very well.
Is supper ready?
No. Is that all you can think about when you come home? Food?
There isn't much else, is there?
Is that so? Well, any time you get tired of using this place as a boarding house...
Ah, forget it, Mom. Forget it. What's this?
Leave it alone. You have to look at everything.
Well, what is it?
An old album of snapshots. Found it in the trunk today. Didn't know I still had it.
Gee, is this me?
Let me see. Mm-hmm. That's you.
How old was I then?
Oh, let me see. About 6. You were real cute then.
Are there any pictures of Dad?
No.
Oh, say, I remember this place. This is where we lived just before we came to Fairfield, wasn't it?
Quite a while before. You were about 8 then.
Who's this? Who's this man?
You ought to remember him. You were almost 9 when he went away.
I don't. Who was he?
He was your stepfather. What's the idea of tearing that up?
Yes, I want to.
Cut it out. You got no right to tear up that picture. Lord knows I got no use for the man, but you got no right to tear it up.
Oh, you had no right to marry him.
Shut up. Oh, get out of here before I hit you again. Get out of here. Get out.
I went back to my room. I got out my things from under the floorboard again, but somehow they didn't make me feel very good the way they usually did. I had an awful headache. Pretty soon I put on my hat and went out. Is the oil and water all right, Miss Wilson?
I think it is, Elwood, yes.
Oh, well, that'll be $1.80 then.
All right.
Huh.
Here.
Thanks. How's the new term going, Miss Wilson?
Oh, fine so far. I am sorry you're not with us, though, Elwood. I was so looking forward to having you in my class this year.
Well, some things just can't be helped, I guess. Do the students like your course, Miss Wilson?
They seem to like it fine.
I wish I could be there. Is there anything about abnormal psychology, Miss Wilson?
Oh, we touch on it towards the end of the course.
I read something about it. I read some of the Freud and Adler stuff, too.
Do you, Elwood? Sometimes I think you get more real education staying out of school than the rest of them do staying in.
Well, I try to keep up with what's going on in the world.
You're way ahead of most people, Elwood. You know, I hope someday you can get away from this town, someplace where you can really use your ability. You can go a long way, Elwood.
Oh, I'm going to. I'm going to do something about it someday, all right.
I know you are. Maybe between us we can figure out something soon.
Maybe we can. Can I come over and listen to your records again sometime, Miss Wilson?
Of course you can, Elwood, anytime
Elwood!
you feel...
Elwood! Hey, Elwood.
What's the matter?
We got a phone for Dr. Parker and the police.
What's up? Why?
Oh, it's Mr. Granby. They just found him over there in the lot.
Henry Granby?
Yes. I'll phone. You go over, Elwood. Maybe you can do something.
All right. You want to come, Miss Wilson?
Yes, I will. Must be over there on the corner, there where the people are.
Yeah, people crowd around awfully quick at something like this, don't they?
Oh, they certainly do.
Maybe you don't want to look, huh?
Well, I know.
Oh, gosh, that's Mr. Granby, all right.
Oh, Elwood, what's happened to him?
There's not much use in calling a doctor.
Oh, is he...
Well, you can see. He's been strangled, Miss Wilson. He's dead.
For Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you Eddie Bracken in Elwood. Roma Wines' presentation tonight in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Between the acts of Suspense, this is Ken Niles for Roma Wines. Whenever you entertain, and for everyday pleasure, your best buy in good taste is better tasting Roma wine. Yes, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine because Roma gives you an important difference, an extra goodness you enjoy in fuller bouquet, richer body, and better taste. For to bring you wines that are superior, that taste better, Roma starts with California's choicest grapes. Then Roma master vintners, with America's finest winemaking resources, guide this grape treasure unhurriedly to tempting taste perfection. This wine is placed with mellow Roma wines of years before. And from these reserves, the world's greatest reserves of fine wines, Roma later selects for your pleasure. That's what makes the difference, the better taste you enjoy in Roma, California wines. So whether you prefer sherry or port, muscatel or Tokay, insist on Roma wine. R-O-M-A. Roma, the greatest name in wine.
And now Roma Wines bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Eddie Bracken in Elwood, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Finding Mr. Granby murdered created a terrific commotion. At first, they thought some tramp did it, but they couldn't find anything missing except a Phi Beta Kappa key. So they figured someone in town must have done it, because there were quite a lot of people who didn't like Mr. Granby at all. You can imagine how that made everybody feel. A little town like ours where everybody knew everybody else, and someone you might say hello to a dozen times a day was a murderer. Friday was my afternoon off, so I was just walking around the town and I ran into Miss Wilson and Winnie Hawks.
Why, hello, Elwood.
Hello, Miss Wilson. Hi, Winnie.
Elwood Parsons, I do wish you'd stop calling me Winnie. My name is Winifred. In fact, it's Miss Hawks to mere acquaintances.
Well, I always used to call you Winnie.
That was years ago when I was just a child.
Winifred's 17 now, Elwood. She's a young lady.
Well, at least I'm old enough to be addressed by my right name.
Okay, Winnie.
All right, then, Ellie.
Say, Winnie, what's that?
What?
That. Hanging on your bracelet.
Oh, that. That's just a little gold football. Andy Sawyer gave it to me.
Gee, that's nice.
Oh, it's all right. The whole varsity got them. Anybody might have one.
Anybody?
Yes, even you. If you'd ever taken the trouble to go out for the team.
The football equipment cost too much. Say, have you heard anything new about the murder?
New? My father says that if the police can't do anything, it's high time the citizens took things into their own hands. He's forming a vigilante committee.
Oh, Winifred.
Well, we have to do something, don't we? After all, there's a murderer running around loose, and how do we know? It might be anybody.
Sure, it might be anybody.
Oh, well, I suppose it might, but...
Listen, will both of you swear not to tell us to a living soul?
What, Winifred?
Well, my father thinks he knows who did it. The murder.
Does he?
He thinks it's old man Krantz.
Oh.
In the first place, there's something wrong with him living up there in that old shack all alone. And in the second place, he's a foreigner.
Oh, Winifred, what's that got to do with it?
Well, he could have done it. My father thinks it's somebody who's crazy. A fiend.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard. Old man Krantz, a fiend.
Well, just because you're such bosom pals.
Tell your
with him.
father to guess again, Winnie. Old man Krantz wouldn't hurt anybody.
How do you know?
Old man Krantz, he wouldn't hurt a fly. He wouldn't dare. Old man Krantz was a little funny, all right. But it was funnier still, them thinking that he'd done it. That gave me the idea to go up and see him. His big dog, Bismarck, started making an awful fuss the way he always did. But I just banged on the door anyway.
Who is it? Who's there?
It's me, Mr. Krantz. Elwood.
Oh, why didn't you say? Quiet, Bismarck. Wait a minute. I'll unbar the door.
Hello, Bismarck, old fella.
Ah, so you finally come up to see old man Krantz again, huh?
Yeah, I brought you some old horseshoes. Now, put 'em down here. Say, I thought I ought to tell you. I heard the screwiest thing down in town today.
Oh, so what was that?
Well, you know about the murder?
Yes, I know.
Somebody said you did it.
Oh, they did, huh?
Uh-huh. They're getting up a vigilante committee.
Well, let them come with their vigilante committee. I got my shotgun. I take care of myself, all right.
Oh, they won't bother you, Mr. Krantz. I told them they were crazy.
They better not bother me.
As far as that goes, I don't think they'll ever find out who did it.
No?
I don't think so. Do you?
Well, somebody did do it.
Oh, sure. Somebody did.
He was strangled, I hear.
He was. I saw him.
Take a strong pair of hands to do that.
Yeah, I guess it would. Well, what have you been doing lately, Mr. Krantz?
Oh, nothing. Reading a little philosophy this last few days.
No more psychology?
Oh, sure, but now I read a little philosophy just for a change.
Oh.
I've been reading Schopenhauer. You know how he says is the only way to escape the world? Suicide.
Suicide?
Yeah. But he's crazy. My way of living is better than his way of dying.
Well, why do you want to escape from the world, Mr. Krantz?
Why? Look at it. Just look at it and tell me why I shouldn't want to escape from it.
Well, I don't know, Mr. Krantz. There are a lot of things wrong with the
Wrong?
world, but...
You just show me one thing that's right. Just one thing. And I'll go back. That's right. I'll go back. But in the meantime, while you got nothing else to do, we play a game of horseshoes, huh?
Oh.
Come on. I got the stakes all laid out.
Okay.
Oh. Say, what kind of horseshoes are these? They're all bent.
Well, I did want to ask Charlie Vander for new ones. They're roll ones. The ones he takes off the horses.
Oh.
They just have to be straightened out a little, that's all.
Yeah, that's right.
You got a hammer or an axe somewhere?
Hammer, you think I'm an old man and I'm weak, huh? You don't know how much strength I got. There, look. I straightened it with my bare hands.
Shucks, I bet I could do it.
Go ahead, try.
All right. There. See?
Oh, yes.
Just as straight as yours.
Yes, Elwood. That takes a strong pair of hands to do that.
I didn't feel very well that night. I tried on a Phi Beta Kappa key that I had in front of a mirror. And then I put it back in the place under the floor. And then I put on my hat and went out. You know, the next day they found Winnie Hawks. She was dead. Somebody strangled her.
Hello, Elwood. Come in.
I haven't seen you for quite a while.
I know. Everyone's been so upset. It was such an awful thing.
What?
About Winifred.
Oh, yes. It's strange what fate does.
Well, it's something a little more horrible than fate.
I thought maybe you wouldn't want to go out. I thought you might like to listen to some music tonight, Miss Wilson.
Why, yes. Yes, I'd love to. As a matter of fact, I've just got a new album of Stravinsky. They say it's very good.
Oh, Stravinsky's wonderful. I think it's terribly exciting and emotional, don't you?
Well, yes, and so imaginative. Well, I'll get out the records if you'll start. What's that you've got there, Elwood?
What?
That thing you're tossing up and down your hand.
Oh, that's just a little watch charm I found. I carry it in my pocket, sort of for luck.
It was a gold football, wasn't it?
Yeah, I found it. I guess some fella lost it.
Oh.
Okay, sis, I'm leaving now. Oh, hi, Elwood.
Hello, Dick.
All right, Dick.
Dad's here, so don't worry.
I won't.
Going hunting?
Oh, the rifle. Hunting? You bet I am. Half the town is tonight.
Didn't you know, Elwood? The committee is patrolling the streets because of the murder.
Oh, yes, I heard something about it.
You ought to join up. It's every man's duty with a fiend like that on the loose.
Yeah, maybe I will.
We've got a sort of temporary headquarters down at the police station. Drop in anytime. Tell them I sent you. I'm vice chairman of the committee, you know.
Oh, well, all right, thanks.
Well, so long.
Good night, Dick.
Good night.
Shall I put on the first record, Miss Wilson?
Yes, all right. Elwood.
Huh? Yeah?
Where did you find that gold football?
Down by the railroad tracks. I guess some fella lost it who was passing through. I sort of collect things like that, you know.
Oh.
Oh, that music's wonderful. It makes me want to do things. Big things. You've been a wonderful help to me, Miss Wilson.
I like to help people that I think will benefit by it. So perhaps someday they can accomplish something.
I'm going to accomplish something someday, Miss Wilson. In a way, I already have. Sometimes I thought if I were a little bit older and you were a little younger,
that's one thing we know we can't accomplish, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can't change our ages.
No, we can't accomplish that. That's a lovely watch you have on, Miss Wilson.
Oh, it is?
I've never seen that before.
A friend of mine brought it back from Europe for me.
May I see it?
Why, of course.
It certainly is complicated, isn't it?
Yes, it's one of those Swiss ones that tells the day of the month, too.
Oh, it's really lovely.
I'm glad you like it.
I'd like to have a watch like that.
Elwood, I can't listen anymore. I hope you'll excuse me.
What's the matter, Miss Wilson?
I'm sorry, but suddenly I have a very bad headache.
Oh, well, of course, I understand, Miss Wilson.
Thank you, Elwood.
Oh, you have nothing to thank me for, Miss Wilson. I'll go now.
All right. Good night, Elwood.
Good night, Miss Wilson. I went home and put the gold football in the place under the floor. I thought I'd go to sleep, but I felt worse than I ever had that night. So after a while, I put on my hat and coat and went out. I walked around for quite a while. Once I saw some fellows drive around in a hopped-up Ford, all with rifles and shotguns.
Elwood.
Hi. I just waved to them and kept on walking. I was down around the station just as the 1140 was pulling out. A man that had gotten off it was crossing the tracks and taking the shortcut. It was dark. I couldn't see who he was, but he had a brand-new briefcase. A lovely one. The kind they call a dispatch case. I followed him. The shortcut is a path up over the ridge below Old Man Kranz's shack. It winds quite a lot, so at first he didn't notice I was following. And then I got pretty close before he did, and he turned his head. He began walking faster, and so did I. In a minute, he looked back again, and then it must have come to him who I was because he started to run. Then I ran, too. And when he saw he couldn't get away, all at once he made a quick turn up the hill towards the light in Old Man Kranz's shack. He didn't yell or anything, but he dropped his briefcase now and was running as hard as he could. So was I, and I didn't stop. For a second, I was afraid he might wake up Old Man Kranz's dog before I caught up with him. And then he tripped. He tripped over something and fell, and I was there before he could get up again. He turned his face, and then suddenly it happened again. The same thing that happened with Winnie Hawks and with Mr. Granby. It wasn't his face that I saw. It was the face in the picture. The face of my stepfather. And my hands were closing around his throat. The next day, the sun was shining, and I was pleased because it was my day off again. And I slept late. I started over into town. I saw a couple of kids running up the ridge, so I guess they'd found him, and I followed along. But when I got there, I saw they were going up further to Old Man Kranz's shack. There was a big crowd up there, and the sheriff and 3 or 4 cops. But they didn't seem to be doing much. It was some other men, like Miss Wilson's brother. They seemed to be in charge. One had a rope, and he was slinging it over a tree. Then I saw the dog. Somebody had shot Bismarck. He was lying there in the grass, all covered up with blood. And then they were dragging Old Man Krantz out of his shack.
I'm an old man, boy. I didn't do it. What would an old man like me want to do a thing like that? Shut up.
All right, men, listen. Quiet. I gotta warn you. What you're doing is illegal and contrary to the law.
Well, we're going to in charge now, Sheriff. And let me warn you. Don't try to interfere.
Bismarck, old Bismarck, what did you have to do that for to a poor dumb animal? He didn't do nothing.
Come on, get the rope.
Yeah.
Wait. He didn't do it.
How do you know?
He couldn't have.
There's the one who did it. Right there.
I was down the hill before they even had time to fire a shot. That's all it had taken. Just those few words, and they knew. But it was too late now. There was a freight train coming through. Just as I got to the tracks, I got across ahead of it, and that cut them off for a minute, and it gave me time to think. But I knew I'd never get far in open daylight. Then I saw an oil tank car standing on the siding with the top up. I scrambled up onto it and down the little ladder inside. It was empty. But I was barely inside when they were across the tracks after me. I hardly dared breathe. And they were standing in the darkness with the oil, and the bottom of the car was seeping into my shoes. I almost fainted thinking of what would happen if someone got the idea of looking into that tank car. It was good and dark. About 8 o'clock, I guess, before I dared to climb out. I was still frightened, but I was excited, too. They were all looking for me. Everybody. In a couple of days, the whole country would be looking for me, but they wouldn't find me. They'd never find me. For years, they'd wonder how I got away. And then I saw 2 men walking up the track to the freight agent's office. I was frightened all over again.
Haven't seen any sign of them, have you?
Oh, I just wish I had. I got old Betsy here all primed and ready.
They were all over, everywhere. But just the same, I had to get to see Miss Wilson. Somehow I had to get to see her. I started back over the ridge. I figured that would be the last place they'd be looking. But at every little sound in the brush, I'd go weak all over from fear. I got there, though, through the backyard. I was hiding in the bushes alongside the house when I saw her coming out the front door. Her brother was with her and her father.
I'll walk you down there, sis.
All right.
We're patrolling the streets by the school anyway, so you'll be all right. Keep plenty of lights on, though.
Oh, it's so brutal.
Brutal?
Yes, and you enjoy it, all of you, hunting him down like an animal.
Well, good Lord, sis. He is an animal.
So I was an animal. Well, all right, then I was an animal. But I was a lot smarter animal than any of them. I knew she was going to the school. I remembered now. It was something about a sorority dance. I knew how to get into the basement. There was a window that was always open. It was awfully easy, really. And I was already inside when I heard her arrive. She had the place blazing with lights, but her room was right next to the basement stairway. And there was a fuse box just at the head of the stairs. It was almost too easy. Of course, I couldn't see her in there when I opened the door.
Who's there? Who's there?
Wilson? Don't be afraid, Miss Wilson.
Elwood.
I want to talk to you, Miss Wilson.
Elwood,
I
don't.
wanted to tell you why I did those things. You're a psychologist. You'll understand.
Please, Elwood,
it
go.
was those things like the gold football, like your watch. Do you have your watch with you tonight, Miss Wilson?
Don't come near me.
I know you have it. Nobody ever gave me a watch.
Elwood.
They wouldn't even if I asked them for it. They'd just keep it from me.
Elwood, listen.
So I just have to
No.
take it. See? I just take it. All of a sudden, the lights were on again. They were coming down the hall. There's only one way out, the window. I was cut some when I hit the ground, but I was all right, and I started running. And then I saw someone in front of me. He was aiming right at me. I turned and I ran the other way. I fell, or something hit me. I tried to get up. Something hit me again. And that's all I remember. They say I'm what's called a criminal psychopath. They say I took those things because they were symbols of love that I never had. They say I killed those people because they represented my stepfather, and I thought that he'd kept me from being loved. They say they don't know whether I should be sent to an asylum or go to trial. But I don't see why they go to all this trouble, because they say anyway, I'm going to die.
Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, Roma, America's favorite wine. This is Ken Niles bringing back to our suspense microphone the brilliant star of tonight's play, Eddie Bracken. Eddie, even though murder is a bit out of your line, you were superbly convincing as a villain tonight.
Well, Ken, I really enjoyed playing Elwood. Say, that's a handsome watch you're wearing. You mind if I...
Elwood, I mean, Eddie, don't. Let go of my wrist. The play's over.
Oh, but I like nice things. Valuable things.
Well, then, you'll like this gift basket of Roma, California wines. It's a present from Roma, your host tonight, with compliments on a most realistic performance.
Oh, gee, thanks, Ken. I'll have to remember that routine. It pays dividends.
And remember this, Eddie, when friends drop in, it pays dividends in hospitality to add warmth to their welcome with glasses of that delicious Roma port in your gift basket. For ruby red, rich-tasting Roma port is a warm, congenial wine, the first choice of millions for smart entertaining. And at dinner time, fragrant Roma port is so good, so gracious with dessert. Yes, real hospitality calls for Roma port on hand, always.
Oh, I know how popular Roma port is, Ken.
Well, Eddie, here's the reason. You see, in all Roma wines, you enjoy an important difference, an extra goodness born of fuller bouquet, richer body, and better taste. And because only Roma wines give you this extra goodness, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine.
Solid, Ken, solid. Thank you. And good night.
Eddie Bracken may be heard on his own program for Texaco and is currently being seen in the Paramount production Ladies' Man. Tonight's suspense play was written by Robert Richards. Next Thursday, same time, you will hear Mr. Howard Da Silva as star of Suspense.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Yes, Roma wines taste better because only Roma selects from the world's greatest wine reserves for your pleasure. And now, Roma Wines, R-O-M-A. Roma Wines present
Suspense. Tonight, Roma Wines bring you Mr. Howard Da Silva in You Take Ballistics, a suspense play produced, edited, and directed for Roma Wines by William Spear.
Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those better-tasting California wines enjoyed by more Americans than any other wine. For friendly entertaining, for delightful dining. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant, as Roma Wines bring you
Howard Da Silva as Homicide Lieutenant Ed Harvey in You Take Ballistics, Cornell Woolrich's remarkable study of the police mind at work, which is tonight's tale of Suspense.
By this time, it was night, pretty late. I walked down toward the apartment on the opposite side of the street like I had a dozen times before that day. This time, I had to count the doorways. I knew Cass was on the 10th one down from the corner. I knew he was there, but I knew I'd never see him. It was too dark, and Cass was a lot too smart.
Hi, Lieutenant.
He made any moves yet?
Not a move.
How about the back way?
No. Peters is covering that. He'd leave us know. Anyway, you know he's still up there. Every little while you can see his shadow against the shade. There, see?
Huh?
Hey, look.
You got a match?
Oh, sure, here. Hey, Lieutenant, did you get any orders, or did we just stick around? Myself, I think he's settling down for the night.
No. Mm-mm. This isn't getting us anyplace. I'm going to make the pinch. Now, come on up with me, see what we got.
Sure. Oh, boy, that's good to stretch. My gams were killing me.
Yeah, I know. I done plenty of stakeouts myself. Anyway, it was warm tonight. That's a help.
Yeah, that's always a help. Hey, you know what I think, Lieutenant?
What?
I think that guy's waiting for something.
Or someone.
Like who?
Us.
He's wise, huh?
Smart, pretty smart. I don't like it.
Yes, sir, gents.
Coleman, Clarence Coleman, take us up.
Yes, sir.
I need a shave.
Huh? Nah, you don't look bad.
How long has he been living here? You, how long has Coleman been living here?
Huh? Oh, Mr. Coleman? 2 or 3 years. Second door
we
to
know
your...
the way. What a dump, huh?
Hey,
No.
Lieutenant,
No.
you think I...
No gun. He won't give us any trouble. He's too smart. Your name, Coleman?
Yeah.
We're from headquarters.
Okay. You want to come in, or you just want to talk to me where you are?
We want to talk to you downtown, but first we want to come in.
Come on in. Nobody's stopping you.
Look around, Cass.
Yeah. Suppose you guys got a search warrant?
I suppose you got a witness that we don't.
Go ahead, look. I just want you to know I'm not dumb, that's all.
Sure, I know. You're smart.
I was doing a crossword puzzle. You don't mind, do you?
Oh, go right ahead.
I want to get that one down before I forgot.
Cash, you find it?
No.
Do you own a gun?
Why, sure.
Where is it?
Tell them to look in the bottom drawer of the bureau, and they're under my winter underwear.
You hear that, Cash?
Yeah. I got a license for it, too.
You fired it lately?
Yeah, sure thing.
I got it. Here she is, Lieutenant.
Look out, you don't rub off any prints.
I told you we're smart.
Maybe too smart.
38, one shell gone. When'd you fire it last?
Right last night. Why should I lie to you? You're going to give me the nitrate test as soon as you get me downtown anyway.
Right last night, huh? Right into Edmund Lombard's body?
Wrong. Into the floor. Here.
You got all the answers, haven't you?
I only know what I know. Can't do better than that for my own brother.
If you fired it into the floor, where's the crease?
See that little scatter rug? Just kick it aside. See it? I can do better than a crease. If you dig in with your penknife, you can probably get the slug.
Well, let's have a look.
Hey, what are you doing that for, Cass? This guy's just making a chump out of you.
Maybe, but we'd better have the slug just the same, Lieutenant.
All right. You, take your hands out of your pockets and get your favorite hat and start moving toward the door. You're coming with us.
There we are.
Okay by me.
You get it?
Yeah, it's a 38, all right.
Am I under arrest?
Well, if you got to have a name for it, no. Not yet. You're just a guest of the department for the rest of the night.
You get the works, I suppose.
Cass, take him down the stairs, will you? I want to talk to this kid on the elevator for a minute.
All right.
Hey, wait a second. You got any more of that gum?
Yeah, here. Sure, Lieutenant. There you are. Come on, you.
All right.
Come on. Let's go down here.
Yes, sir.
Got a match?
Oh, sure, I have.
A gun go off anywhere in this building last night?
Sure. His did.
Who's, Coleman?
Yeah. The people downstairs telephoned me, so I had to go up there. He fired into the floor by mistake. He was plenty scared. Hey, he in trouble?
Nothing serious. Just a little thing called murder.
For Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you Howard Da Silva in You Take Ballistics. Roma Wines' presentation tonight in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Between the acts of Suspense, this is Truman Bradley for Roma Wines. Next time you buy wine, remember this. For entertaining, for everyday pleasure, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine. That's because Roma wine tastes better, yet costs so little. Yes, in Roma wine you enjoy an important difference, an extra goodness in fuller bouquet, richer body, and better taste. To bring you this difference, this better taste, Roma starts with California's choicest grapes. Then Roma master vintners, with America's finest winemaking resources, guide this grape treasure unhurriedly to tempting taste perfection. Later, along with Roma wines of years before, these choice cuvées await selection from the world's greatest reserves of fine wines for your pleasure. Tomorrow, enjoy the better taste of Roma California wines. Whether you prefer sherry or port, muscatel or tokay, insist on Roma wines, your best buy in good taste. Remember, R-O-M-A, Roma, the greatest name in wine.
And now Roma Wines bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Howard Da Silva as Homicide Lieutenant Ed Harvey in You Take Ballistics, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I've been on the force for quite a while, and I made my shares of arrests, big and small. Little punks and chiselers and big-time racket men and crazy, wild-eyed killers. I never made a pinch that looked better and that I liked less than this Coleman. We had everything. We had to make the pinch. And I knew it was going to turn sour the minute I walked into that apartment. And a sour murder rap is something, well, I personally don't care for. We didn't take him downtown. We took him over to a little precinct house up on the west side. And we didn't book him. We just tossed him in the back room and let him wait. Leffinger, my boss, got there about 10 minutes later.
Did you bring him in?
Yes, sir. He's in back. Here's his gun. He claims it went off into the floor last night by mistake.
Oh, beat us to the paraffin test, huh? Well, he could have framed it that way after he killed Lombard.
Yeah, he could have.
Here's a slug, Captain.
38.
Yeah.
Turn the stuff over to ballistics.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Cass.
Huh?
Give me a light, will you?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Any report on the one they dug out of Lombard?
Probably on its way now. Who are these two guys?
The night elevator man that took him up to Lombard's apartment and the night counter man at the lunchroom about a half a block away.
They recognize him?
Positive.
Well, let's go to work. Sergeant.
Yes, sir?
We'll want to spring these witnesses on them. One buzz, send in the elevator man. 2 buzzes the other guy.
Okay, Captain. You think you'll sweat?
You?
No. Hi, Coleman. Sit over there.
Sure.
Put the light on him, O'Farrell.
Yes, sir.
All right, Coleman. Suppose you tell us what you did last night.
Beginning when?
Beginning when you left your apartment.
Well, I went out about 9 o'clock. Walked over to 23rd and 7th. There's a cigar store there. I made a phone call.
Who to?
Edmund Lombard.
Oh, so you did contact Lombard?
Sure. Did I say different?
Go ahead.
You know Lombard's racket?
You tell us.
Collected bets on the nags. Only the long shots he wouldn't turn in. They never came in anyway, so who knows the difference? Only this one time, I get a tip on one that comes in. 20 to 1. Lombard can't cover. He lambs. I just catch up with him last night. On the phone, I tell him I want my dough. I tell him to meet me in an hour.
Did he meet you?
I didn't give him a chance. I went up to his place.
You went up to his place?
Sure. No percentage for me to lie. I know you got me placed up there.
So you went up to his place?
Yeah. He was already packing. Getting ready to lamb again. He kind of laughed and said, "You can't blame a guy for trying." I said, "I want my $2,000. Okay," he said. "You win." He asked me for a receipt so I can't come at him again. Fair enough. So I write one out for him on the hotel stationery.
Well, wind it up. Let's see how good you can make it.
That's all. So he begins unpacking. He figures he might just as well stay where he is now. Then I leave.
So that's how it was. Sure you didn't leave out anything?
No.
Why'd you leave out about killing him?
Because it belongs out, because I didn't.
You didn't have a gun on you when you went up there.
Oh, yeah. Sure I did.
Why'd you take a gun if you didn't plan to shoot him?
So he wouldn't pull one on me. You think a guy like Eddie Lombard's going to cough up $2,000 just like that?
Don't lie to us. When we bring you in here, we want the truth. You shot him first and collected your dough afterwards.
No.
And then you wrote out your receipt to a dead man.
No.
That's how it happened, isn't it?
No.
Answer me,
No.
isn't it?
No.
Cash.
Yeah, Captain.
Never mind those witnesses. He spiked them for us. Come on in here and give us a hand.
Sure.
Okay, bring him out of it.
All right, come on. Come on, will you? Get up there. Why don't we give you something to pass out about?
Now, why'd you tell him? You listening? Why'd you tell the night man that Lombard was staying and not to bother about his luggage?
Because I was afraid he'd go up there and Lombard might think it was me again and take a shot at him.
Because he was dead in there and you wanted to get clear of the building before he was found.
If I did, I didn't go very far. I stayed in the coffee shop down the block for 15 or 20 minutes afterwards.
Look, what'd you do with the money you took off him after you killed him?
The dough he gave me. I put it in the bank first thing this morning.
take over, Cass.
All right.
Come on, Harvey.
No. Wait till I wash my hands. You know, I need a shave. All right.
Come on.
See you later, Cass.
Yeah, Lieutenant. All right, Coleman. Come on now. Why don't you...
You know, if I'd hang around there much longer, I'd be liable to hurt him.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. How come nobody heard this shot?
People next door were out, and down below they were asleep.
You know, I don't like it. You notice how he beats us to the punch every time. We got witnesses for everything, except the killing.
Which all adds up, though we got nothing but circumstantial. Wouldn't stand up in court 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, maybe ballistics will tie it up for us.
Yeah, maybe.
What's the matter? Don't you believe in ballistics?
Sure, but you heard the guy. He's got every other angle covered. Not going to slip up on anything as obvious as ballistics.
Don't you think he's guilty?
I think he's guilty. I went back up to Coleman's apartment. I hate this part of any job. There's always the off chance that it may turn up something, so it has to be done. But 9 times out of 10, it doesn't get you a thing. Didn't this time either. There's a lot of junk. In the living room, items, crossword puzzle he'd been working on, a pencil stub, the butt of the cigarette he'd been smoking, and the package it came out of. The bathroom, items, usual assorted stuff in the medicine cabinet, and 15 rusty razor blades under the bathtub. Kitchen items, 3 empty beer bottles and some very lively cockroaches of assorted sizes. The bedroom, items, a bureau full of linen and 3 suits in the closet. One of them was the gray number he'd been wearing the night he called on Lombard. There was nothing in the pockets but a Canadian dime, a faded snapshot of a faded blonde, and a book of cigarette papers. I put the stuff from his pockets in a regulation brown envelope for no very good reason. Went back to the precinct. Effinger was still there, biting his nails.
Did you get anything?
If I did, I don't know it. How's he doing?
How's he doing? How are we doing? Lousy.
Yeah, so far.
You're still sure of him, huh?
I was never sure of a pinch in my life.
Listen, I'm going to let it go through on circumstantial. Ballistics will be sure to match his gun to the slug that killed Lombard, and that's enough to do it without anything else.
I don't know.
Say, what are you Yeah? Yeah, this is Leffinger. Well, it's about time. Well, you knew where to reach me. I told you I was going to bring him out here. Yeah? What? Yeah. Okay. Ballistics. Coleman's gun was a .38.
I know that.
Oh, you know that. Well, then maybe you know that the slug they took out of Lombard is a .32. So now what do you know?
That does it.
Yeah, that does it, all right.
No, I don't mean that. I mean he's our meat. He's the guy. You can't tell me different.
I'm not telling you different, but ballistics is. And ballistics don't lie. You setting yourself up above ballistics?
You take ballistics, I'll take human nature. That don't lie either.
If you mean he did it with a .32 and then ditched it, you're wrong, because we checked all that.
I know. I know he didn't. Otherwise, he wouldn't have shot that slug into the floor.
But the slug in the floor was a .38.
Listen, Cap, I've called on aldermen, yeah, and state representatives, and... Well, even they get a little scared when you say headquarters. But not this guy. He was waiting for us. He was calm. He was doing crossword puzzles. He was too calm. No, he's too smart. He's got everything covered. He's been ahead of us all the way. He's our guy, I tell you. He's our guy.
He's our guy. He's our guy. Well, go on out and prove it, then.
All right, don't take it out on me, Cap. I feel as bad about it as you do.
Yeah, well, you're the guy with all the big ideas. Go out and do something about it.
All right, how long will you give me?
Tomorrow morning. You can't hold them forever without booking them, you know.
Tomorrow morning? What am I going to do at this time? Look, make it noon, huh? Give me a chance, anyhow.
All right. Noon. And I'm stretching it for you.
Yeah, thanks, Cap.
Listen, wait a minute. You're not holding out on me, are you?
I wish I was. I don't know a thing more than you do, Cap. I just know it's got to be our way, that's all.
Yeah, gotta be.
Hey, I think I'll take another look at him before I go.
Oh, now listen, Coleman. We know you did it. Why don't you make it easy for yourself?
Make it easy for you coppers, you mean. I know you guys. Anything for a pinch. What do you care if you got the wrong guy?
All right.
Okay, Cass. You can lay off.
You got something?
Yeah, the slug that killed Lombard was a 32. His gun is a 38.
Huh?
All right, throw him in a cell. We'll probably have to turn him loose in the morning.
Morning? What's the matter with tonight?
What's the matter? Don't you like it here?
All right. But you'll have a sweet case of false arrest on your hands by morning. Remember that, copper, when you're back pounding a beat.
Oh, I won't forget. You're smart. Got a match? Go on, have a cigarette.
I got my own.
Go ahead, have one.
I wouldn't take a smoke from a copper if it was the last one before I die.
You may have a chance to prove that someday.
Yeah?
Yeah, when you go to the electric chair. Well, that sounded good, but I wasn't too sure. You know, they say every criminal makes at least one mistake. Well, I wasn't too sure of that either. All I was sure of was that he'd done it, so there had to be some way to prove it. But first, I went back to his apartment. I went over the joint with a fine-tooth comb. Nothing. Then I thought of that suit in the closet. I got it out. I went over it inch by inch. Turned the pockets inside out. Right there was where I found something that gave me an idea, or rather, it was what I didn't find that I should have. I went out to Coleman's kitchen, I made a pot of black coffee, and I sat down to think. And the more I thought, the better I liked it. It might not mean a thing, it might not even be possible, but it was all I had, so... So the next stop was headquarters and the pistol range in the basement. By the time I got through, it was daylight. At 6:45, I was waiting outside that cigar store at 23rd and 7th where Coleman had made his phone call to Lombard. It was run by a little guy named Truhoff. We questioned him before, but this was different. The story wasn't open yet. Finally, after what seemed at least an hour and a half, I saw him. I saw Truhoff come puffing down the street.
Well, Lieutenant, you're the real early bird, huh?
You're late.
Late, he says. What time you want a cigar store should open? The middle of the night.
Come on, let's go inside. I want to ask you a couple of things.
More questions. Didn't you ask me already everything but my grandmother's middle name?
Yeah, I forgot that. That's why I came back.
All right. So now what?
About this Coleman. When he was in here...
Sure. He telephoned from the booth back there. How can I hear what he says from way up here?
I don't care about that now. He used to buy smokes from you, though, you said.
That's right. Every day almost.
Any particular brand?
Sure. Always the same for 2 years. These here.
Always machine-made cigarette?
Always? Why not?
What did he buy from you the night he was in here phoning?
The same. Why not?
You're sure he didn't buy these?
Wait. Yes. If I didn't see them in your hand, I would never remember. Cigarette papers. For change, he said. To cut down expenses, he said. It was the first time he ever bought them.
Did he buy any loose tobacco to go with them?
Let me see. Why, I don't think. He didn't ask me, so I figured he's got some already.
Okay. You can give me some now.
Oh, sure thing.
Hey, give me some matches, will you?
Sure. Help yourself. Say, what is it all of a sudden with you, Lieutenant? You look like you just swallowed the cat that ate the canary.
You're all right, Pop. And I'm going to fix you up.
Yeah?
Yep. To be a witness at a nice big murder trial. Free. I went back to the precinct, but Leffinger had moved them to another one, over on the east side, on account of the 24-hour detention law. That took more time to locate him, but that was one thing I had plenty of now. I was either in with what I had, or I was out. And suddenly I felt tired. I felt tired as an old dog. I tried breakfast, but that didn't help much, so I went on over to the east side. Leffinger was right on deck, cranky as ever, but I could see he was worried. We had this guy pretty nearly 48 hours, and the cops don't like to break the law any more than the next guy.
Well, where you been all night, Bright Eyes? You look like you slept on a park bench.
I didn't sleep anyplace. I've been using my brains. Why did you leave word you were going to move him?
What's the difference? His next move is out.
His next move is arraignment after what I'm going to show you.
Great. I'm just in the mood for lantern slide.
Let's have him in, huh?
Yeah, bring him in, Johnson.
Okay, Captain.
Now, look, first I want you to watch how he rolls a cigarette.
What are we doing now? Playing parlor games?
Just watch him, that's all. And remember, I found these cigarette papers in the pocket of his suit. The suit he wore the night he went to see Lombard.
Oh, I suppose he gassed him to death with cheap tobacco. Eh?
Here he is, Captain.
Oh, the Rover boys. You guys woke me up just to move me to another hideout. Why don't you get wise to yourselves? You know you're going to have to book me or turn me loose sooner or later.
All right. Forget it. We're turning you loose. All we want you to do is to sign a waiver that nothing happened to you in here.
Nuts, I signed nothing.
Hey, take it easy, will you? We got the guy that did it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Got nothing to worry about. We just don't want any suits for false arrest, that's all.
Yeah, well, you took the words right out of my mouth, Copper, because my first stop after here is a lawyer.
Now, wait a minute. Let's talk this over. Smoke?
Nah, not one of them things.
Will you smoke these, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
Here's some tobacco. Go ahead, roll one.
Thanks.
That's not the way.
I'm a little out of practice.
A little out of practice, he says. Don't look to me like he'd ever rolled one before in his life. Is it to you, Cap?
All right, so send me to the chair for that.
Just the same, he bought these cigarette papers the night he went to see Lombard at the cigar store where he phoned, where he bought all his smokes. First time in 2 years he ever bought any. And no tobacco to go with them. And not a shred of loose tobacco in any of his pockets. Now, why do you suppose he bought those cigarette papers that night, huh?
You're telling it. I'm listening.
Are you listening, Coleman?
You're talking in your sleep.
I'll tell you why he bought them. Better than that, I'll show you why. Let me have your gun a minute, will you, Cap?
Yeah, sure.
That's 38, right?
Yeah.
Same caliber as Coleman's gun?
Right.
All right. Now, here's a .32 caliber bullet. The same caliber as the slug that killed Lombard. Do you want to see it?
I know a .32 when I see it.
All right. Now, we take the 38 bullets out of your gun. Now we take this .32 bullet and about 3 of these cigarette papers. We double them over. We wrap them around the bullet. See? See how snug the .32 fits in your .38 gun now?
Well, I'll be a monk.
Now watch. Now watch how a .38 gun will fire a .32 bullet. I'll put it in the baseboard over there. That's ballistics, Cap. How do you like it?
Ballistics. Ballistics?
You take ballistics. I'll take human nature every time. 3 months later, Coleman went to the chair. Whether he took a cigarette from a copper or not before he died, I don't know. And I don't care.
Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, R-O-M-A. Roma, America's favorite wines. This is Truman Bradley, bringing back to our microphone the star of tonight's suspense play, Howard Da Silva. My compliments, Howard, on a grand performance. Say, tell me, how did you like being on the side of Law and Order for a change? On the screen, I've seen you as a pretty tough character.
Truman, I much prefer to be law-abiding. It makes me more popular with my friends.
Well, here's something, Howard, that will make you even more popular with your guests. A gift basket of Roma wines. From Roma, your host of the evening.
My thanks to Roma, Truman. This is my idea of real hospitality.
That's what your friends will say, Howard, when you treat them to the golden amber, fragrant Roma California sherry in your gift basket. For Roma sherry, with its tempting nut-like taste, is the perfect first call for dinner, and served with nuts, fruit, cake, or any tasty snack. Roma sherry is a truly delightful wine for entertaining any time.
Right, Truman. Roma sherry is certainly a versatile wine.
Versatile is the word for Roma sherry, Howard, and extra good, too. For Roma sherry, like all Roma wines, gives you an important difference, an extra goodness in fuller bouquet, richer body, and better taste. And the best proof I can give you that Roma wines taste better is the fact that more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine.
Well, that's proof enough for me, Truman. And now, who's on Suspense next week?
Well, Howard, it's Claude Rains.
My favorite actor.
Yes, Claude Rains in a very unusual suspense story. Mr. Rains will be entirely alone, no other member of the cast. A real solo performance. The story will be a famous English study in terror, The Waxwork. And you'll want to hear what it feels like to spend the night in a museum haunted by the spirits of famous murderers of the past.
That I've got to listen to. Thank you and good night.
Howard De Silva appeared through the courtesy of Paramount Pictures and is currently being seen in their production Blaze of Noon. Tonight's suspense play was written by Robert Richards from the story by Cornell Woolrich. Next Thursday, same time, you will hear Mr. Claude Rains as star of Suspense.
Produced and directed by William Spear for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California. Buy your share of Easter happiness. Bring new life and hope to crippled children through Easter seals. Buy Easter seals today. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Yes, Roma wines taste better because only Roma selects from the world's greatest wine reserves for your pleasure. And now, Roma Wines, R-O-M-A. Roma Wines present Suspense.
Tonight, Roma Wines bring you Mr. Phil Silvers in The Swift Rise of Eddie Albright, a suspense play produced, edited, and directed for Roma Wines by William Spear.
Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those better-tasting California wines enjoyed by more Americans than any other wine. For friendly entertaining, for delightful dining. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant, as Roma Wines bring you Phil Silvers in a remarkable tale of Suspense.
Up, car, please. Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning.
Step back in the car, please. Well, good morning, Miss Wainwright.
Hello, Eddie.
Good morning, Miss Kittredge. Take away, Eddie.
That's all, please. Watch the doors, please.
Do, please.
Well, that's the way it is with me all day long, see? I got my ups and downs, like they say. But I like it that way, see? Because I'm not going to be doing this forever. I'm not even going to be doing it very much longer at all. Because I got a job as an assistant to Mr. Garvey, the building manager. And the way I handle my car and my customers, I'm going to be a cinch to get it. In fact, I am so much a cinch that I have told Millie that that's what I am already. Millie is the manicurist at the elite barber shop down on Lexington. And 3-4 times a week on my off hour, I jump out of my uniform and into my street clothes and go down there and get a manicure. I sort of got Millie staked out, see? And that's where I am on this day when all this happens. Down there getting a manicure from Millie.
You got real nice hands, though, Mr. Albright. Real swan gay.
Well, you see, for a man in my position...
But I will also say that you don't really have to have them cared for quite so often.
Oh, that...
I mean, I wouldn't tell that to everyone, but some of my customers, I like to give them my very best professional advice, you know?
Well, maybe I... Oh.
Just let your hand relax, Mr. Albright.
Yeah. Well, maybe I know that. Maybe I got my reason.
Mr. Albright, I can't imagine what kind of reasons you
Look,
have.
with a guy like me, nobody has to stand on many ceremonies, see? For instance, all my friends call me Eddie.
Really?
Sure, Mr. Garvey and everybody. Just like I call you Millie. That's all right, isn't it?
Oh, well, sure, but me calling a customer, well, it makes a difference, you know?
Is that all I am? Just another customer? Ooh.
You must hold your hand still, Mr. Albright.
Yeah, sure. But what I mean is just because I hold a slightly higher position than somebody else, that don't make any difference to me. That's my idea of democracy. Everybody is just as good as anybody else. Of course, unless you're a millionaire or something.
Oh, well, what's so special about a millionaire? I got a customer that's a millionaire, and his hands aren't nearly as swan gay as yours.
Well, what I mean is, I'm not quite in that class yet. But I wish you would call me Eddie.
Well, you know, I was thinking about you. Once or twice. I mean, you're quite young to be holding a position of assistant manager of a big building like the Dunbar building.
Well, I started at the bottom, of course, but there's little tricks in getting to the top, just like in everything else.
Gee, I wished I knew some.
Well, take me, for instance. You know how I got where I am? Remembering names and faces, that's how.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. when I was just merely an elevator operator.
Remember names. You mean a little thing like that can get you to
A little thing like that? Listen, how do you suppose Jim Farley got where he is today?
Where is he?
I don't know where he is right now, but that's how he got to be Postmaster General. Just remembering names and faces. Just one little thing, that's all.
Well, I don't know. He must have had some kind of other abilities. I mean, he must have been a bug on stamps or something. Oh, heavens forbid. Look at that cutie.
Well, maybe one, two little things, but that was the main thing. Now take me, for instance.
Oh, I'm sorry, Eddie, but you got to keep your hands still, you know.
Oh, that's okay, Millie. Forget it. But I was just trying to show you something in the paper. See this picture?
Yeah? Frankie the Nose Maddox. Former New York gangster who escaped from Atlanta 6 months ago, believed to be in the city. Oh, sure, I saw that this morning.
Yeah, so did I. And when I saw it, I said to myself, Eddie, Eddie Albright, you've seen this guy somewhere before. And just like that, I remembered.
Oh, well, I bet I could remember an ugly mug like that.
Yeah, but suppose you only seen him 3-4 times, and it was 2-3 years ago. And he was always with a whole lot of other people.
Eddie, you mean you know Frankie Maddox?
No, but I took him up in my car. That was when I was just merely an elevator operator. I took him up 3-4 times. There's a rich guy named Ellinger, lives in a penthouse on top of our building, and I took him up there. And that was 2-3 years ago. But right away I remembered, recalled the face.
Oh, I guess that is pretty good, all right.
Sure, that's the kind of thing that got me where I am.
Yeah, well, some people are lucky, I guess.
Well, I don't know. But some people that are lucky like to share their luck with other people. Ever stop to think about that?
Well, I'm quite sure I don't know what you mean.
Well, take you and me, for example.
What?
Maybe we could be lucky together. I mean, maybe you and me could go out to dinner and the theater some night.
Really? Oh, gee, that'd be awful nice.
Well, how about tonight?
Tonight? Well, I don't know. I guess I could make it tonight.
Okay, now where do I meet?
Well. So this is where you spend all your time.
No, hello, Alex. Millie, I just remembered something important. I gotta go.
Yeah, but Eddie, I haven't finished.
What's your hurry? You might at least introduce the little lady to your boss.
No, don't say
dear.
that.
Then you must be Mr. Garvey.
Millie,
Well, sure, I'm pleased to meet you,
Mr. Garvey? Say, what's this guy been telling you?
Well,
I
Millie,
really don't see what's so funny.
No,
All
it's
I know
not.
is that Mr. Albright here is Mr. Garvey's personal assistant in the Dunbar building.
Is that what he told you?
Look, Alex, can I just...
Oh, Eddie, I'm ashamed. How could you do such a thing to such a cute little lady?
Eddie Albright, you going to sit there and let this man talk to me?
He better sit there because I am his boss.
Millie, look.
I'm chief starter on the Dunbar elevators, and little Eddie here is operator number 23.
Eddie.
And when I say go, he goes. And when I say stay, he stays.
Millie, no. Look, Millie, I gotta go,
I haven't finished your hand, Mr. Albright.
Oh, Millie, let's not be bitter. Well, goodbye. Well, you can imagine how that made me feel. I felt lower than the third baseman. And what made it worse, it was all true, what I told Millie. All except a little part about being Mr. Garvey's assistant. But I did remember faces. I was going to get to the top. I was there already, practically. But all I could think of was how I could get even with that starter, that Alex Henderson, without having him fire me. And pretty soon he came back, and I just didn't speak to him. I didn't even look at him. But I can see him grinning all over that ugly puss of his every time he looks at me. And then I see him looking serious and going over to talk to some guys that just came in that I recognize as plainclothes dicks. And then they separate and sort of hang around the lobby trying to look as though they aren't there. And I figure I'll bide my time to get to that Alex. So pretty soon I mosey over to where he is.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Albright.
Okay, you had your fun. What are all the dicks doing in the lobby?
Well, now, I wouldn't tell everyone, but of course an important man like you...
Oh, lay off, can't you? What's going on?
They had a tip Frankie Maddox was heading for this building.
Frankie Maddox?
Yeah. Friend of yours?
Well, I know what he looks like. I took him up to the penthouse 3-4 times, 2-3 years ago. I never forget.
Yeah? Who was with him, General MacArthur?
Now, look, I'm not kidding. I'd remember him any place.
Well, why don't you just go over and speak to the lieutenant over there?
Okay, I will.
Get back on your car.
But Alex...
Get back on your... Well, look who's coming in the door. Our girlfriend.
Our girlfriend? Oh, listen, Alex, I can take just...
How do you do, Miss O'Malley?
Oh,
I'm quite well, thank you, Mr. Henderson.
Hello, Millie.
I wonder if you could have one of your boys take me up to the penthouse. We got a call at the shop a little while ago from Mr. Ellinger. He wanted a manicurist sent up.
Why, sure, Miss O'Malley. The last car there.
Thank you very kindly, Mr. Henderson.
Eddie, take the young lady up to the penthouse. Right away. Look sharp.
Millie.
The penthouse, please.
Now, listen, Millie. I can explain all what I
And
said.
I do not wish to engage in any unnecessary conversation with the help, Mr. Albright.
Oh, Millie, that guy's jealous, that's all. He knows when that job comes up, I'm a cinch fit, and he won't stand a chance. He's just trying to get the knife on me, that's all. And that job is coming up, and I'm going to get it. Any day now, you'll see. Oh, Millie, give me a break. You said yourself it didn't matter even if a guy was a millionaire.
I am a very democratic person, Mr. Albright. I have no objection at all to a man being an elevator operator whatsoever. But I do object to his being a big phony. I believe this is my floor. Good day, Mr. Albright.
Millie.
Hold it, Bud.
Huh? You heard him. Hold it. I'm sorry, but you gentlemen can't bring that carpet down in this car. You'll have to take the freight out of it.
Shut up.
Now, listen.
Get in there. All right, easy now. Okay, stand it up in that corner.
Well, of course, if you gentlemen insist.
Okay, that'll do it.
Our policy is to give prompt and courteous service to all the occupants of this building.
Okay,
however, the
start down.
But it's against regulation.
Start down.
Yes, sir. But it's against regulations to carry furniture in the passenger cars. And a big carpet like that.
What about a big carpet like that?
Well, it's furniture.
Well, what do you know? Sonny Boy here thinks this is furniture.
Well, it ain't furniture, you see, Sonny Boy.
Well, the regulations
Shut
are
up.
specific. Yes, sir. What floor, sir?
The basement.
Yes, sir. Which basement?
You ain't trying to be funny, are you, Sonny Boy?
No, sir, but we have 3 basements in this building.
You all got stairs up to the street?
Yeah, they have stairs, but
Well,
it isn't.
take us to the first one you come to.
Yes, sir. But the building regulations
shut
are clearly...
up.
Yes, sir. Well, like I say, we believe in giving prompt and courteous service. So I wasn't going to argue with anybody, particularly anybody as big and tough as these 2 guys look. They wanted to take a carpet to the basement. There's no skin off my knees. It was a big carpet, all right. It was rolled up, and they had it standing in the corner between them. And I glanced at it, just casual-like. And then I saw something that made my skin come up in goosebumps all over. Sticking out of the bottom of that carpet was a pair of feet. Hey, those guys had a dead body in that carpet.
For Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you Phil Silvers in the swift rise of Eddie Albright. Roma Wines' presentation tonight in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Between the acts of Suspense, this is Truman Bradley for Roma Wines. Make your Easter Sunday a day of gracious hospitality with America's favorite wine. That's Roma wine, R-O-M-A, Roma, enjoyed by more Americans than any other wine. Your guests will enjoy glorious golden amber Roma California sherry. And to bring out the full goodness of that ham or turkey dinner, serve Roma California Burgundy or Sauterne. Whichever Roma wine you serve, you enjoy an important difference, a superiority in fuller bouquet, richer body, and better taste. That's because Roma selects California's choicest grapes. Then, Roma master vintners with America's finest winemaking resources guide this grape treasure unhurriedly to tempting taste perfection. Later, with Roma wines of years before, these choice treasures await selection from the world's greatest wine reserves for your pleasure. So tomorrow, for your best buy in good taste, insist on Roma wine, R-O-M-A, Roma, the greatest name in wine.
And now, Roma Wines bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Phil Silvers in the swift rise of Eddie Albright, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Well, when I saw those two tough guys had a body rolled up in that carpet, I just stood there at the controls of my car and tried to keep my knees from knocking until we got down to the first basement.
Is this the basement?
Huh?
I say, is this the basement?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's lift it easy. All right.
Can I help you?
No,
Take it
never
easy.
mind.
You got it?
Oh, okay. Set it down. All right, sonny boy. You can beat it.
Yes, sir.
And, listen, Bud.
Yes, sir?
If I was you, I'd forget I ever seen this, carpet. Understand?
Yes, sir. What carpet?
Next car, please. Well, where you been, big shot?
I had to take a tenant down to the basement.
The basement?
Yeah. Somebody from the penthouse wanted to see the super about something.
Oh, I see. I thought you was going to stick around and help the cops catch Maddox when he shows up.
Okay, Alex, you think I'm kidding, but I do know what he looks like.
Yeah, with his mug all over the paper, sure. You and a million other people.
I mean what he looks like. For instance, I remember he's a medium-sized small guy, about my size.
Oh, a shrimp.
All right, but you wait. If that guy comes into this building, I'll spot him, and I'll...
All right, everybody, all right.
Just
Just stand right where you are, please.
That's the lieutenant. It must be Maddox.
Maddox?
Now, there's no danger, folks, no danger. We're just trying to locate somebody.
Say, I gotta go.
You stay here.
I just remembered a party up on the 15th floor.
You stay.
Well, see, I figured the cops had everything under control about this Maddox, but there was no use of my butting in until they need me. And so I'm sort of getting my breath and going past the 9th floor before I noticed the little guy in the car with me. A nice-looking little guy, and he speaks to me real friendly.
What's all the excitement down there?
Oh, well, they think some gangster named Maddox is loose in the building somewhere.
Do they?
Yeah.
Maybe it was a good idea we started up when we did, huh?
Oh, I don't know. Don't worry me none. What floor?
The penthouse, please.
Oh, you're looking for Miss Ellinger.
That's right.
My girl's up there with him right now.
Your girl?
Yeah, she's a manicurist. Miss Ellinger sent for her a little while ago for a manicure.
Oh.
Well, here's your floor.
Say, wait a minute before you open those doors. I, got a little proposition to make to you.
Proposition?
Yeah, you see, Mr. Ellinger's an old pal of mine. He's a great guy for gags. I haven't seen him for quite a while. I want to pull one on him, see?
Oh, well, yeah, but...
I want to borrow your uniform. If we just swap coats, that's enough. It'll only take a minute, the whole thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't do anything like that. The regulations...
Sure, I know. Would this help?
Oh, no, I couldn't. You see, if... $100?
Sure, with me and Ellinger, it's anything for a gag, and, like I say, it'll only take a minute.
Well, I don't know. But $100?
Oh, here, go on, take it. Now, give me your coat. Here's mine.
Well, you sure it'll only take a minute?
That's right.
Okay. See ya.
Okay, now let's go. You better come with me, though, so you can get your coat back and go right on down, see?
Yeah, sure. I'll prop the car doors open.
I'm sorry.
Millie.
Eddie Albright, for heaven's sakes, now what?
Who is she?
Oh, that's that's Millie that I told you about.
Oh, where's Ellinger?
Well, I'm sure I don't know, and I've been waiting quite a while, and if I have to wait much longer...
You sure he's not home?
Well, I should be. And if I have to wait much longer, I'm simply going to have to charge him the full rate anyway. And if you're a friend of his, I wish you'd tell him.
Sure. I'll fix it for you. We'll come in and wait.
As for you, Mr. Albright, of course it's no business of mine. But if you want to throw away your job and your whole career...
I got my reason.
Come on.
Millie.
Well...
Yeah, but you said it would only take a minute.
Come on. There's another $100 in it for you when you get your coat back.
$100?
See? I told you.
Your boyfriend and I are just pulling a little gag, miss.
Boyfriend? Are you implicating that this... Well, I must say, someone has given you the wrong kind of an impression entirely.
Yeah, okay, but you two could do quite a lot with a couple of $100, couldn't you? Suppose, you wait here in the front room, miss. We'll go on inside. But don't tell Mr. Ellinger we're here. We want to surprise him.
Yes, sir, of course. That's $200.
Listen, I can't wait long, you know.
Yeah, sure, I know. In here.
Let's go out on the balcony. It's nice up here.
Yeah. I always wanted a penthouse.
You know, with them looking all over for this Maddox, whatever his name is, they won't miss you for a while.
Yeah, there's that. But boy, I just wish I could lay my hands on that guy.
Oh, Maddox?
Yeah, boy, if I could just capture him single-handed or something.
What's the matter? You got something against the guy?
Oh, no, Mr.
Mason.
No, Mr. Mason, I got nothing against him. But I gotta do something pretty quick.
Fooling around with guys like this Maddox could be a little unhealthy, though, couldn't it?
Yeah, there's that. But, well, you see, Mr. Mason, I gotta do something for Millie.
Oh. I don't know. She seems like a nice kid. She doesn't seem like the kind who'd expect any crazy grandstand plays from a guy.
Oh, she wouldn't, Mr. Mason. Millie's the top. She's aces. But you see, well, I already made one and it flopped. It was a terrible flop.
Oh, showing off for a dame, huh? Like a little kid.
Yeah, I guess so, Mr. Mason. I guess I made an awful fool out of myself. But, well, now I gotta do something to make up for it.
Listen, Eddie, a dame that's any good, she doesn't expect anything special of a guy. If she does lay off because she's poisoned, take my word for it, I know. Maybe I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't tried to show off for a dame. Just like you. I was a punk kid. I didn't know any better.
Gee, Mr. Mason, I wouldn't say where you are today is so bad. Being able to pass out $100 bills like you do.
Yeah? Well, you get older. You see things a little different sometimes. How'd you come to louse it up with her?
Well, you see, it began by me telling about this job that I got as assistant to Mr. Garvey, the building manager. Only I don't have it yet. And then Alex, he's the starter. He tips her off. And then I'm trying to explain to her when I bring her up here. Only I don't get a chance because these two mugs get in my car with a
What
big
two
carpet.
mugs?
The two that come from the penthouse here. I guess they're working for Mr. Ellinger, and they got a big rolled-up carpet, and they want to go down to the basement. And I told them the regulations, but, gee, maybe I shouldn't be saying this after what they told me.
What did they tell you?
Well, about the carpet, they said.
Carpet. So that's it.
Well, I guess it's okay to tell you, Mr. Mason, but I was scared. Well, there was a body in that carpet. Gosh, you don't suppose that's why Mr. Ellinger...
Now listen, Eddie, you stay right here, see?
But Mr. Mason, my coat...
I'll be back in 2 minutes, kid. Then you'll be all set. The basement, huh?
Yeah, but wait, Mr. Mason...
You stay here. You want your coat back?
Oh...
Well, Mr. Albright, I see your newfound friend has left you holding the bag.
Oh, Millie, I don't know. Everything is going wrong today.
Well, you can't say that your friends, or those who were your friends, didn't give you fair warning.
You mean you're still my friend?
I didn't say that. I just hope that Mr. Alex Henderson is your friend when you try to explain to him what happened to your uniform coat.
Alex Henderson. Listen, Millie, you don't see anything in that guy, do you? Well, he's just a common
Mr.
starter.
Henderson is a very high-type gentleman and not a big phony.
Him? Why, he's the worst.
And at least he is not ashamed of his position.
He is, too.
And seeing that he is your superior,
Yeah, well,
feel...
he won't be for long. I can tell you that right now.
All right, Maddox. Reach.
What?
Don't try to stall him, Max. Get him up.
They got guns.
Maddox, hey, listen, I'm not Maddox.
Who do you think you're kidding? We know you've been having a doctor change your face the last 6 months.
And then you think you're going to walk right in here and knock off Ellinger for that $50,000 he took you for. Well, you're a little late. You know why? Listen, fellas, you got it wrong. Don't you remember? I'll tell you why. Because
And we got tipped off and we got Ellinger out of here in a carpet. How do you like that?
You know who is going to get it? You, Maddox.
Oh, no.
Hey, look, my girl, she fainted. And she's in luck. Got any last words, Maddox? Wait, listen, I'm not Maddox. I'm the elevator boy.
I never thought I'd see you crawl, Maddox.
Look, don't you remember? I took you down with the carpet to the basement.
Go on, go ahead. I'm getting a big boot out of this.
Hey, wait a minute. Maybe he's got something. Come over here, you. Yes, sir. I think it is the elevator punk. That's me, sir. That's right. The elevator punk. That's me. Get up. What do you think?
I don't know. What happened to your uniform, punk?
Well, there was a man. He was in my car.
All right, turn around and get it.
Maddox.
What happened those next few minutes, I'll never know. I was down on the floor until the shooting stopped, and then it was awful still. And I opened one eye and looked around, and Mr. Mason, only he was Maddox. I recognized him. And the two mugs were lying on the floor, and they weren't moving either. And then I saw Millie lying there, too, and I rushed over to her. And I took her in my arms, and then she opened her eyes, so I knew she was all right. So I rushed back to Mr. Maddox to see if I can help him. On account of he was nice to me, whatever he was. But he was dead all right, I guess. And I took the gun out of his hand, and then all of a sudden the room was full of people, cops and Alex Anderson, and even Mr. Garvey. They were all crowding around me, and everybody was saying something different.
It's Maddox, all right, Chief. He's got identification.
What happened here?
Is that the missing operator, Henderson?
That's right, Mr. Garvey.
Who's the girl?
Why, officer, he's got a gun in his hand.
Give me that, son.
Yes, sir.
Well. Say, son, you must have been mixed up in this little party yourself, huh? Where'd you get the gun?
Well, Lieutenant...
It's Maddox's gun, isn't it?
That's right, Chief. That's what must have happened. Maddox gunned the two hoods, and then the kid jumped him.
Yeah? Well, that took a lot of courage, son. Is that what happened?
Well, sir,
Go ahead, Eddie. Speak up. Don't be afraid.
Oh, no, Mr. Garvey. I'm not afraid. I'm
Just
perfectly...
tell us what happened, son.
Well, what happened? Yes, sir. That's what happened, all right. What you said, Mr. Maddox made me come in here and change clothes with him. And then those two came in, and Maddox shot them, and then, well, I just sort of overpowered him, and the gun went off, and he was killed.
I know guys on the force wouldn't have dared do that.
Eddie!
Did she see it?
I fainted.
Well, say, young man, you certainly are to be congratulated.
Thanks, Mr. Garvey.
Yes, sir. You're the type of man we need on the Dunbar building staff, which reminds me. There's a position as my personal assistant coming open. I think you could fill it. Come and talk to me about it in the morning.
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Garvey.
Oh, Eddie.
Hey, Chief. Yeah? Look, Maddox. He's alive.
So he is.
Yeah.
He can talk.
He can talk?
How about it, Maddox? Is that what happened?
What happened?
The kid here says you gunned the other two, and he overpowered you, and you got it in the struggle for the gun. Is that what happened?
The kid there overpowered me?
Oh.
Yeah, sure. The kid just overpowered me.
He's gone.
Gosh. The reason I told this, well, Millie and I got married when I got the job of Mr. Garvey, and, well, something pretty important is going to happen pretty soon, and, well, I got to think of what Mr. Maddox said, and I told Millie the whole thing, because I didn't want to have a kid who could ever say his old man was a big phony.
Hello, Eddie. Good morning, Mr. Albright.
Alex?
Car 3, sir? Take Mr. Albright right up.
Oh, thank you, Alex. I've been watching your work. You're doing grand. Grand. Now, just look alive. Well, shall we go? Up, up, quickly, boy. Up.
Suspense. Presented by Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, Roma, America's favorite wines. This is Truman Bradley bringing back to our microphone the star of tonight's suspense play, Phil Silvers. Well, Phil, as a screen comedian, your usual job is to keep people in stitches rather than in suspense. Tell me, how did you like the change tonight?
Truman, believe me, it's a lot easier to make people scared than it is to make them smile.
Well, would a top-flight comedian like yourself object to a tip on how to make folks smile?
Hey, the last time I got a good tip was when a guy mistook me for a waiter. But go on ahead. Old Silvers needs a little polish. Nice, Judge, that's a good one. Polish, did you get it, huh?
Well, Phil, if you want to see smiles of satisfaction on the faces of your friends, just serve them Roma wine. To help you, here's a hamper of Roma wines with the compliments of Roma, the greatest name in wine.
Hey, I'll take that tip. And the Roma wine with thanks, Truman.
Among the fine Roma wines in your hamper, Phil, you'll find a bottle of Roma California Burgundy. Roma Burgundy is good any time and a special favorite at Easter. Millions prefer Roma Burgundy as the perfect flavor mate with a traditional Easter ham, turkey, or roast. Yes, red, robust Roma Burgundy, with its full, fragrant bouquet and tempting taste, brings out all the rich, natural flavor of red meats, adds friendliness, good taste and distinction to any meal.
Roma Burgundy it is, Truman.
And, Phil, in all Roma wines, you enjoy an important difference, an extra goodness in fuller bouquet, richer body, and better taste. Yes, Roma wines taste better because Roma selects the better tasting wines from the world's greatest reserves. That's why more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine.
Well, that's good enough for me, Truman. And may I add a credit? Phil Silvers is currently being seen in his living room. Thank you. You've been devoted.
Tonight's suspense play was written by Roy Grandy and Robert Richards. Next Thursday, same time, you will hear Mr. Kirk Douglas as star of Suspense.
Produced and directed by William Spear for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California.
In the coming weeks, Suspense will present such stars as Ava Gardner, David Niven, Lloyd Nolan, Lynn Barry, and others. Make it a point to listen each Thursday to Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills.
Stay tuned for the thrilling adventures of the FBI in Peace and War, which follows immediately over most of these stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.